So I started off as a fitness instructor 6 years ago, and I then became a personal trainer about a year after that. And this is all whilst I set up my own fitness business, Mamau Ffit. And I've been doing that for 6 years now, and I set up my first studio this year. Majority of my life I was in retail from very young. After university, I worked as an 18 to 30s club rep in Ibiza.
I could see you'd be good at that.
I absolutely loved it. I did it for 2 seasons, and sadly on the second season I met my husband. So he ruined my career. He did, yeah. It was just at the start of my career. I was very, very good at my job, very good salesperson, very good with my clients. Obviously too good because, my husband was one of them. And so I did that for a bit, and then he was in the army. So 8 years we were in the army together, so we got married. But I'm a people person. I like to be out. I like to be visiting stores. I like to be, and I like to sell as well. I love selling myself, which is why I think I love the social media aspect of running my own business. I appreciate there's not a lot of gyms for mums, and especially not a lot of gyms for mums to bring their children. But we're not a gym and we're not a crash. What I offer is completely different to everything else out there. And like you were saying, with the strings to my bow, all the things I've done, I feel like everything I've done in my past has led up to what I offer at the studio. The fitness element of it that I've only technically been doing for the last 6 years. And when I say that to people, they're like, oh my God, have you not been fit all your life? And I'm like, you could not be more wrong.
What made you go into it then? What made you get into fitness?
The sort of step into the world of fitness for me is actually a really interesting story, and it's one that I can't share enough because it's so many other women's stories as well. So it actually came out of my second pregnancy, my second child, and the mental health aspect. So essentially I had my second child, Arthur. First child, everything went smoothly, fine. Kind of got back to things. My body wasn't too bad. But after having the second child, I just think physically, mentally, emotionally, I was so drained. It was tough going from 1 to 2 children. It was not double the work. I didn't tell anyone, as is unfortunately a strong part of my character, is that I just keep calm and carry on.
Just crack on.
Very old school in terms of I just try to help everyone else, and I never think about myself, which is not good. And I'm trying to do that more now. I struggled for a couple of months. At 3 months postpartum, I asked my director if I could go back to work because I just didn't want to be at home with the kids. And I thought that would fix it. And it wasn't, because when I came home, it was the same situation. When you're going in your brain and you're going, have I always felt like this? And you can't imagine not feeling like something when you feel like something.
Yeah, because it's so constant and so always there. And
I remember my husband passed a comment, and we talked about going on a holiday, and he said, oh, I'm so excited about going on holiday. And I just remember thinking, I'm not excited. And then I'm in my head, I'm going, I definitely used to get excited about, and there was nothing that I got excited about anymore. So I thought something must be wrong in my brain, and I'd never ever felt like this. I Googled it. Do I have depression? Do I have postnatal depression? And I watched a video on YouTube. 12 signs you've got postnatal depression. I'm a fixer. Yeah, I'm a fixer. I'm like, if I'm like, right, what is the problem? Right, how do we fix it? That's just the way I work. And I remember sitting there going, well, I'll probably maybe have like a couple of them. And I was still in denial at this point. I absolutely did not think for 1 second that I had it. But I thought, let's just see, because it's got to be something. And then, and as it went through, everyone hit hard and harder as it went through. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've got. And I couldn't believe it, because sometimes you cannot recognize it in yourself. It's not a feeling of sadness. And I remember somebody explaining about their partner many years ago. They said to me, oh, my partner's got depression. And I remember being like, well, like, what's wrong with him? Like, well, like what? And they were like, oh, he can't get out of bed. And I genuinely, in my head, because I wasn't rude about it, but I just remember thinking, well, what's wrong with him? Like, is he unhappy? Like, does he not like his job? And then I just remember them saying to me, like, no, it's not that he's particularly sad about something. He's just depressed, and I just could not understand it. And now I've been through it, I'm like, wow, like, yeah, it's instead of feeling sad about something, you just feel nothing. You just feel empty, and it's really, really sad, and really, like, it's a slow, gradual process, I think it is. And yeah, you know, I was 6 months postnatal, I had 2 beautiful, healthy, lovely children, a career that I loved. And I was just so desperately just empty. I felt, and you know, married, I'm happily married, always have been. So it's like there was nothing for me to be depressed about. I remember my husband coming home that evening, and I remember crying, I was sobbing, but then wiped my tears away, made sure I was, you know, normal for when he came back. Again, didn't want to show any emotion. And I said to him, do you think I've got depression? And he said, yeah. So he was actually seeing a therapist himself at the time. Because after many years in the army, he, you know, he really needed support with what he'd been through himself. And he said, I've already talked to my therapist about it. And I was like, wow. But and again, this is the thing from the partner's perspective, is that they don't, how would he, you know, if he turned around to me, I would probably get all defensive and be like, you know, what's wrong with you? Have you got depression? Or I don't think he would have said it quite like that, but like, oh, I think you're depressed. I'd be like, I'm not depressed. The minute that I said, right, okay, I've got postnatal depression, I Googled, how do you fix? I genuinely Googled, how do you fix or how do you cure postnatal depression? The one thing that I didn't want was to go down the medical route. And I'm not saying that that is good or bad. Everything works for whatever, it's individual to each person. But my brain says, well, if something is wrong here, there must be a reason for it. So rather than trying to take a tablet to kind of fix it, can I fix it myself with, you know, I don't know.
Permanently fix it.
Exactly.
Changing what
lifestyle,
you do.
know, I've heard so many different stories about medication, and I absolutely believe in it for anybody who needs it. But for me, I thought, I want to try the other things first. And there's so many other natural lifestyle remedies and changes that you can make for depression and like changes in your chemical changes in your brain. First thing that come up was exercise, and I was like, oh God, now I've got to exercise. Everything that I'm already depressed, and now you're telling me I've got to regularly exercise. That was literally like how it began. I got brought up with my mum as a Slimming World client and then instructor. Lifestyle that encourages is very up and down. It's not something that I'm passionate about, because for me, it should be about lifestyle and about give and take, and not about that's a sin. That, you know, like you can eat lots of that, that's a sin. Like, I'm like, come on now.
It's a skewed way of...
Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is bad, nothing is good. Food isn't a moral issue, it's not sinful, so let's not call it a sin. So yeah, I kind of had a very, I suppose, negative body image, really bad relationship with food, like terrible emotional eater. Very, very much a yo-yo dieter, and exercise was only ever a means to look a certain way, to lose weight. And the fact that, you know, in the last, 9 years, my mindset has completely done a 360, that I have broken all of those habits, and that now I can support other women in what I do. It makes me happy. I don't want us to continue on this cycle of up and down and toxic eating and dieting, and I'm on the wagon, I'm off the wagon. Oh, now I'm going to binge eat because I've just weighed, and I'm going to the toilet to do a wee because I need to lose another 0.5 pound on the scales. It's like you're literally losing wee. That is not fat. You don't want to lose wee. Everything that I now offer is everything that I once did. It's not only from things that I've learned professionally and the qualifications that I've gained over the last 6 years, but from my own experience as a mum, as someone who was completely new to exercise, as someone who was post-30, so I was no longer in my prime. Remember, age of 30, our bones and our muscles start to decline. I was 33, 34 with 2 children, pelvic floor dysfunction, weak bones and weak muscles because I'd never exercised or done sport in my life. And, you know, I basically was starting at the very, very base. So I have been there, and everything that I offer and every bit of advice that I give and everything that I offer at the studio is designed for people like me, because I was once in those shoes, and I think that makes it even more authentic. It's a business, you know. What I run is a fitness business, but I would not be doing it if I wasn't passionate about it. I am essentially a salesperson, as we all are within a business. I'm selling a product and a service, but I am genuinely selling what I think every woman needs and deserves from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
I always say to my clients, I am now the fittest and the strongest and the healthiest. I have the best relationship with food I've ever had in my life, and that is since becoming a mum.
Yeah.
Essentially, one of my clients the other day said to me, when I came to you, I was broken. And that really, really touched me, because I know that is not a one-off. That is a lot of my clients.
Yeah.
And I know because I was there. I was that broken person once.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those fitness people online who is naturally gifted, who is naturally sporty, who's been into sport their whole life. You know, when you have people and they're like, oh yeah, you know, my parents run marathons with me. I actually got brought up by my great nan.
Yeah.
So there was no emphasis on...
No fitness background.
And there is no background at all.
Yeah.
Like I say, the only slight delve into this world I had growing up was my mum being a Slimming World instructor, which is probably, you know, the worst type
Which is far away from fitness, really, isn't it? It's
far away,
It's just diet related. It's not even,
no, but it was related in the way that, oh, no, we only exercise to lose weight, you know? So the studio is an inclusive space for women. The sessions are for women. Every single session is designed for women. I want the space to be as inclusive as possible, which is why I've created the child-friendly areas. So all our daytime classes are child-friendly. So anyone can bring along their children or child. I even had somebody yesterday message me saying, oh, I look after my mum a little bit. Is my mum allowed to come and sit in there? Absolutely. Somebody messaged me the other day, or a couple of people I know at the support group that I go to have asked if they could bring a support worker with them just to kind of sit. Absolutely. Yeah. I want this to be as inclusive as possible. So I want women to know that the sessions are for them. It's not about the children. The children are still their responsibility. There's still rules, and I want to keep everybody safe. Most importantly, the little ones, we want to keep little fingers on their hands. But everything that I've done is with that in mind. After 5 years experience in the classes, I know exactly, what to do, and everything is bolted and secured and safe, and eyes are on. But the idea is that the sessions are coached for women, specifically for the anatomy of a woman as well, which is very different to a man's. But children are absolutely welcome to come along as well. Yeah. With the evening sessions, I call these ladies only because I know my clients like me calling them ladies only, because they can say to their partners, oh, it's ladies only, I can't bring the kids. Because I'm like, they need a break too. Just because you can bring children doesn't mean you have to. We're not just a fitness studio, even though we now have a permanent space and a permanent kind of address. I always say it's always been more than just a fitness class. And I keep using this word over and over. I know people get sick of it, but it is a community. So when I launched in 2020, 3 months later, we went into lockdown. And I went immediately online with my fitness classes. And I've still got clients come into my sessions now that joined online back then. But that community was created. And that, for me, was something that I've always been, I've always nurtured, and something that I've always been really passionate about growing. Yes, I do fitness sessions. Yes, you can come once a week and leave and never talk to me again. But we have the biggest and most lovely community of women, whether they're members at the studio or they just come along to the Christmas party or they just come to my walk-in retreats that I do. There are so many different things that I try to offer to allow the community to grow and to allow women to dip in and out. And I always say, once you've kind of joined us on an event or a class, you're always part of the community. That support that a lot of women don't have is crucial. So many people, when they have a child, they where is their village? All of a sudden, the people who you might have talked to the most, I would say 99% of mums meet their next group of friends in mum and baby classes. That's what, because there's people at the same stage as you. There are so many friendships that have been created out of the Mamau Ffit community that have gone on externally, and I see it all the time. I see my past clients, and they're doing, I've got 2 of my clients at the minute are training for an ultra marathon together.
Nice.
These are clients that did nothing before meeting me, that now, me and a lot of my clients, we all just recently ran the Newport Half Marathon. And you've got people going on to do all these incredible things, not just necessarily fitness related, but they've created these friendships and they've created this village and this community. And that is what I'm all about. It's about getting women together to find their people that they can help support them through motherhood, which is, tricky. I do a lovely program called the Baby Fit Recover program, which is a beautiful entry into postnatal fitness. For me, having something like that is crucial because after we've had a baby, we are so, what's the word? Broken, overwhelmed. You feel like a different person. You don't feel like you. And I think that will hopefully resonate with a lot of women. Your body has changed. Your life has changed. Your physicality has changed. Your bone structure has changed. So many things that have changed that you don't even know about, things that I teach people in this program. But I think the last thing as a new mum necessarily you think you will want is fitness. Like the last thing, oh my God, I've got this new baby to keep alive, and they cry all the time, and I look different. The last thing you think is, okay, let's go and, people think fitness, for some reason they think press-ups and burpees and running, and I'm like, it doesn't have to look that way. Please don't think that fitness is one thing. It's so many different things. So for me, I think I really want to take away the fear that mums and women, not just mums, women have. Fitness doesn't have to look a particular way. And all of my classes demonstrate that because I do such a variety of classes. I've had clients message me saying, my mum really wants to do something, but she doesn't know what to do, what's right for her. And I'm like, okay, amazing. Let's talk about pelvic restore. Let's talk about female foundations. My cousin's just had a baby. Okay, cool. Let's talk about the recover program. I wanted there to be something for everyone. Oh, cool. You're pregnant. Lash. Let's see which class will suit you best. Something for every woman at whatever stage they're at.